On Sunday, the New Orleans Saints showed fight in Buffalo against a heavily favored Bills team. They kept themselves within striking distance with big playability for most of the game, but costly missed chances kept them from keeping the game close enough, pulling upset off at the end. In this film room, we're going to break down some of Week Four's most defining plays, both good and bad. I'm Tim. Let's talk Saints. So before we jump right into the film review, got about 8 plays picked out. I had a couple honorable mentions. I stayed away from the special teams, but so the block punt, had I decided to do any special teams at all, obviously would have been in there. The Philly special probably should have been in there, but I kind of focused on regular standard offensive plays. So shied away from the trick play. We'll say about the both of those, block punt and roughing the punter was probably the right call. He really needed the ball back, but also at the same time, we really needed the ball back, and having that penalty and letting them go, basically putting them in field goal range. Yeah. Kind of feel the same way about the trick play. Agree going for it there. Agree that was definitely four down territory down there in the red zone that close. We'd been playing so well in the second half, been playing very well on offense. Instead of a trick play, I think I'm just going to call two conventional plays down there, try to punch the thing in the end zone. So, honorable mentions, I kind of talked about them, but I didn't cover them. I think the biggest takeaway last thing before we get in the film room, look, you had 4 tough games to start the season. 2 at home, came this close on. First one on the road, let's even pretend like that didn't even happen. But this road game, especially the first half, you showed up, you brought enough to the table, fixing problems, finding ways to make plays, finding ways to get off the field on third down or keep yourself on the field at third down comes to mind. So I like to clean up the red zone. Definitely want to solve the missed tackles. Both of those things should be next on your to-do list. But while you're fixing that, make sure you keep the other stuff fixed. Because you have, coming off that 4 game stretch, you have basically 3 winnable games in a row. And the first 2 at home against the Giants and the Patriots before you have to go to Chicago. You got to keep the momentum moving, keep finding and take advantage of the opportunities, those big plays on the rundown sheet. Control the mistakes you can control, because those missed opportunities, a lot of those were controllable mistakes that need to be fixed, quite honestly. So that's why I kind of focused on both good and bad, offense and defense, plays that fit in that category. We found the way, we did the right thing, we made the big play, or we didn't do the right thing, we couldn't find a way, and we missed an opportunity. Because here's the thing, you did big plays and capitalized most of the opportunities in the first half and let them make mistakes. And look, you were really, really close to walking into halftime with a lead, honestly. About 3 yards away and 3 yards and one Philly special away, I should say. But in the greater scheme of things, you play that half against Arizona and you play that half against Frisco. We're going on a limb. We're gonna win one of those games with a good shot at winning the other one. You take those first 2 quarters and do that for a whole game, the next 3 games coming up, and give yourself that legitimate chance to walk into teams that they're not right now in the same league as most of the 4 you just played. Got to take advantage of that. Got to start now. It's got to start with the Giants. And what you absolutely cannot do is backslide at all going into a home game against a team that just picked up their first win of the season last week and giving it all away. Can't happen. Got to keep the momentum going. Keep the fixed things fixed, and let's go ahead and start taking care of the other stuff. Let's get our first win of the season this Sunday. So on the opening drive, we do something we haven't done on the 3 previous opening drives this year, which is score a touchdown. Compliments of a really good 18-yard run by Kendre Miller. Good play call by Brandon Staley. Good design. We're in the shotgun with Kendra Miller in the pistol formation. It's 12 personnel. You see Mataveo lined up on the offensive left. Both Brandon Cook and Jack Stoll are lined up right off screen to the offensive left. The other receiver, who I believe is Olave, is on the offensive right. You see Stoll coming into motion at this point. This is where the play gets good because Rattler is pointing in the direction of the tight ends, like, okay, I need to move you. And as soon as he does it, Mataval starts moving and the snap comes in. What I like about the design of this play is two things. Right here, we could conceivably hand the ball off or shuttle pass to Mataval, but we're not. I believe the linebackers, at least for a second, or the had to kind of respect that. And then they realize it's going to be a handoff to Kendra Miller, and both tight ends will pull him to the right. Terrell Bernard, the middle linebacker, is heading to the offensive right. We get good combo block right up the middle with McCoy and Ruiz, and now Ruiz is sliding off. We're matched up fine on the left-hand side and clearing that out. There's a space to run through. And they had a player come up from the second level that's going to fill it and meet Kendra in the hole. Kendra, man, he's so good at this. Keeping his shoulder squares, but kind of getting a little skinny in the hole, sliding over, finding a little extra space, and then running through a tackle. There's missed tackle 1. Safety coming in. Missed tackle 2. Brandon Cook had done, up to this point, an excellent job of blocking on that corner. Corner's gotten off the block, and what Brandon Cook does really well here is I'm not going after him. I'm not going to grab him. I'm not going to do anything. We basically have a first down run as of this moment. But Kendra slides off, and Cooks just stays right where he's at. Make sure that guy's not going to get up, right? But that's third tackle. Kendra breaks, gets into the end zone. Really good scheme, play design. Blocking could have been cleaner, but it was good enough to allow Kendra that space that he needed, get in the end zone. And he had to break a couple tackles to get there, but that's what you expect to get from Kendra Miller, especially when he's squared up and running downhill, picks up the yards you need. Beautiful job. So we're under center on this goal line play. Something we did more of week 4 against Buffalo than the previous 3 weeks. We were about 14% under center each of weeks 1, 2, and 3. Jumped up to 27% in this game. And I think it helped a lot with the communication. I think it helped a lot with the blocking. Good to see we made some type of an adjustment that I think kind of worked out to our benefit. And it was even asked about and mentioned in the press conference after the game. And we're in 12 personnel. Both receivers, Brandon Cook and Chris Olave, lined up on the right. Both tight ends are on the left. Alvin's in the backfield. We send Olave in motion. Right as the snap's coming in, if you notice, most of the defense seems to be focused on our left, focused on the motion that Brandon Cook has taken to that side of the formation towards the 2 tight ends on the line of scrimmage. And I think there was some concern there of a jet sweep, something else going on. But even then, if you look after the snap and he doesn't have the ball, they're keeping eyes on him, making sure he doesn't have it. We were supposed to have a play fake here. They kind of talked about it on the broadcast. I'm not really sure, but ultimately it wasn't needed because that fake on the jet motion did its job. Olave's about to put a little move on this corner and get himself inside position. That safety has never moved. He was still looking towards the offensive left, creates a window of space between that L and the S and Bills in the end zone. It's not a huge window. As a quarterback, you've got to fit a ball in there at the right time, and on target, so you can deliver to Olave a catchable ball. And this time he does it. It's fairly easy pitch and catch, although it's not that real easy to fit a ball in there like that. But it's something that if you want to be a starting NFL quarterback and play at a high level, play at that, you're the quarterback of the future, possibly the one they're going to build a franchise around. You have to make these throws on a regular basis. So this is Sanker's interception. Definitely a big play. We've got him backed up on third down. Now this the second quarter. There's about 12 minutes, 50 seconds left to go till the half. We have them at 3rd and 11. Reason why they've got the ball back here is because, and you'll see this a little later, we had a screw up on our drive where we were methodically moving the ball down the field, ended up having to punt. We backed them up inside the 20. The defense steps up. Sanker actually had just the previous play made a pass breakup, and now he's going to come through in a big way here. You think we're kind of showing cover two right here, but actually easing it up into a more of a man look. You see Reed coming up into the box. But as that player went in motion back into the backfield, Reed is now backing off. We're sending pressure. Taylor's blitzing, but Sanker has kind of moved back closer to the middle of the field. It's a bit more of a man underneath look. Sanker has read the play, and at this time we got pressure. And when we brought pressure, and we had quite a bit more than we did the last week in Seattle, but when we brought pressure, we really got into Allen's face. We got to him a little bit. And he's kind of backfooting this throw as Shepard's hitting him and trying to get it downfield. And Jonas Sanker has come a long, long way, tracked this ball down, and just stepped right in front of Coleman, the intended receiver, who Sanker in there. There's a good chance that ball is caught. Instead, makes a sensational pick. We get a third down stop. Turnover on top of that. All the way around a great play. Kept the momentum going in our favor, especially on the defense after giving up those first two touchdown drives. We're going to move to the closing minutes of the game, fourth quarter. And what we're looking at here is a 3rd and 5. Now, this would be Buffalo's last drive, the one in which we get a third down stop to get off the field and then rough the punter. They keep the ball, go down, kick the field goal, turn a 9-point game, touchdown and a field goal for us into a 2-touchdown comeback. The reason why, not only getting a sack on third down, I think this is a huge play. If you think back to the previous drive, Buffalo had the ball. We had them 3rd and 5, roughly in the same area of the field. Allen scrambled for 27 yards, and then on the very next play, threw the 28-yard touchdown pass to Kincaid. We're in a very similar front. We've got Bresee off the center. He's in the A gap between the center and the right guard. That's where he was on that scramble that Allen had. And this one plays out very similar at first, the way that one did. So he got the snap of the ball. Bresee does the same thing he did on that play. Is he's crossing the center's face, trying to get a pass rush in there. And he was moved all the way, not quite all the way across the field, but all the way from the A gap he had lined up in to the A gap on the opposite side and kind of open up that middle again. And Allen's thinking, oh, got another easy run up the middle right here. But Bresee, and that is a chokehold and should have been a penalty. And how every official on the field missed that, I don't know. But it makes this play even better. Bresee's got to do some MMA stuff here, I guess. I don't know, to get this guy off his back, which he does. This time there's a body in the way, and Allen can't. Great job by Granderson here. Close that gap off. Now Allen's going to try to pop it out towards the hash. And Granderson is closing in, but Bresee has jumped on his back after getting rid of the rear naked choke that the center had on him. Gets Allen down to the ground. We get a third down stop. That is a great, great play. Could have been a game changer if we don't rough the punter on the very next snap. What I liked about that is very similar situation. Allen was trying to take very similar advantage of us like he did in the previous drive for that long run. You're talking about overcoming adversity and making an adjustment. Pretty much the same thing was rolling out, but we had two players this time. Bresee able to get off his block, and I'm being generous calling that a block. And Granderson also recognizing what was going on, getting to that middle and taking that run up the middle, because that's one of Allen's favorite things to do is run up those center guard gaps on third down to pick up huge yardage, cutting that off and allowing Bresee to go ahead and jump on his back and make the sack. Red zone play initially called the touchdown, overturned on review. Now, this is right at the snap. Rattler's just gotten the ball. They're playing too high safety look. They're kind of matching up underneath on everyone. We've got Johnson and Camaro running routes to the offensive left at the bottom of your screen. Shahid, Olave, and of course Cooks out of that trip set up on the offensive right at the top of your screen. Right now, Rattler is winding up to throw this ball. And if you're looking where the ball ultimately goes, too high safety, there's that space between the two safeties and the one linebacker that can affect the play whatsoever, standing on the left hash if you're the defensive player. Rattler's already got the ball ready to throw, anticipating the break by Cooks to the space. Ball is out right now. There it is. Cooks is just getting into his break. Safety has fallen down. And all intents and purposes, this is looking like a touchdown. So I'm watching this live and watching this ball come into Cooks. It's like perfect touchdown. He's right on the break. He's going to catch it and just stroll into the end zone. And even though you were on time, this is everything you needed. You anticipating the break. You were anticipating the space. You were reading the grass, not the guys. And that's where the space was going to be. That's where the ball needed to go. Everybody else is covered up. There's really nothing else he could have done, but it was still dialed up perfectly. On time and on target. Got the on time part right. Missed the on target. Mentioned this when he perfectly on time and on target on that touchdown pass to Olave. NFL quarterbacks can do it, but if you want to be the level of quarterback that we need, quite honestly, you got to hit this way more than you miss it. Now, I know we're a little spoiled in New Orleans about a guy who used to be here who's going to the Hall of Fame that never missed these things. I'm not expecting that. It's got to be a little more than 50% a game. And I'm going to show you one in a second where we had another opportunity late in the game to make a play that we missed completely. It would have needed another on time, on target throw into an area like this. And we didn't even take the chance. Definitely one in the, I think everybody wishes we had this one back. At this point in the game, there's 6 minutes, 17 seconds left to go in the game. We're down 21-16. And we need to really start hitting on some big plays, need some of those game-changing type plays. We want to try to pull this game out because at this point, only down 5, we're still in this thing. Now, this is off of play action. Alvin's released right up the middle. On your right-hand side of your screen, Johnson chipped the edge defender. He's going out. While people, Brandon Cook's doing the same thing on the left-hand side. He's going out. So you kind of going to have short, intermediate passes from those three. Olave and Shahid are operating downfield. They're only sending 3, and you can see 3 defenders right across the sticks. It's 1st and 10 from the 50. They're making some deep drops, their linebackers, into that zone where they're right at the sticks, and they're going to force a throw either over the top of their heads to try to find space, or if you take one of the 3 short routes that are developing, they're going to rally to the ball, try to break it up, but at the very least, if it's caught, you're not going anywhere with the ball. So this is just to show the outcome because you can see Shaq Thompson, number 45 for Buffalo, he's already read where Alvin's going with the ball. I'm sorry, where Rattler's going the ball to Alvin. He's already breaking on it. So even if Alvin comes up with this thing, yeah, you get a little gain on the play, but that's what that zone is designed to do. Exactly what it did right there. Now, same exact play, but let's take it from the all 22 view, and you're seeing right now that we're right off the play fake. We're pretty good on the offensive line as far as giving Rattler some time. The two deep routes are coming out. They're getting in their drops. They're playing cover three. And then they're zoning underneath, right at the sticks, right at the first down marker. Rattler's looking left to Olave, who's down at the bottom of your screen. And there's going to be space in the middle of the field behind the linebackers, between the corners, and in front of the safety. There's the space. This is game changing, big time throw territory. And if you can get the ball to one of our fast guys in that space where they can split two of those defenders, now you're looking at a really big play. Rattler, perfectly clean pocket. Alvin has set up at this point. He's about 2 yards behind the line, across the line of scrimmage. Johnson has snuck out. Cooks has turned around to be a dump off. The ball is already out on its way to Alvin. We know what happens there, but Olave is breaking in across that space. Rattler still has a clean pocket, still had time. This ball, I mean, you really and truly need to figure out a way to get this ball to Olave at this point. And to back it up and then just kind of play it out in slow motion, they've deepened up. You can see the linebackers already moving up towards Alvin. Rattler has not even set up to throw this ball. Well, he set up to throw it, but he hasn't released it yet. And you can see at this point where that space is, where the big play, and you've caught a linebacker already creeping up. One of these things, a look off, a pump fake, something right here, and give that, because the line is giving you time. You've got a clean pocket to throw the ball, and look for that big throw on the crosser across the middle to Olave. These are the type of things you really want to open this offense up and help yourself out. When these opportunities present itself, you got to get the ball in there into your playmaker 15 yards down the field. You got a plus 15-yard catch here, plus whatever yak he might be able to pick up after the throw. I feel like this is a missed opportunity in a way, but not quite the way that we've been talking about. Because this is the 43-yard, and let's be honest, the negative 1 yard pass, 44-yard run after the catch by Shakir. To me, the opportunity you had here, you've got, look, our future Hall of Fame linebacker closing in on him. Now, kind of gets caught in the wash a little bit. And for whatever reason, Shakir kind of cuts this inside. I think he could have dipped right around Yadam and got to the sideline and housed this thing with no problem. But he comes back towards DeMario. So DeMario's in great shape right here. Minimum gain. Not going to go anywhere, right? And that's one of DeMario's missed tackles on the day. He had a couple. And it's just a missed opportunity. They still pick up yards. They're still staying ahead of the chains and grinding it down the field. But if you can keep them grinding, especially the way this game started turning, where Buffalo was constantly shooting themselves in the foot like we normally do, missing tackles in these situations are definitely missed opportunities. So you had this bottled up for maybe 3-4 yards. He's going to get close to the first down marker, even, but you probably have him short, third and short. Don't know what happens from there. But what we do know is you missed that tackle. And then Sanker can't quite close it out. And at this point, your opportunity to keep this play bottled up, more importantly, to keep an explosive play bottled up. They had 3 that went for over 20, this one for 43. You make the stop, you make it look, you never know what happens on that third down play. Especially they were having pre-snap issues like we used to. Look, this type of thing where You got to make the tackle. You had two shots at it to keep this from happening. One of them to hold him very possibly short of the of picking up even the first down on that play. But here's an explosive play. One really good takeaway from this happening is our offense did put their big boy pants on when we got the ball back, and they marched right down the field and scored a touchdown to tie it up. So kudos to them. But this team can't keep missing tackles and creating huge opportunities for a guy like Shakir to hurt us like he did on this play. We're in the second quarter now, and I'm calling this one a missed opportunity. For context, what happened on this drive? They had just scored their second touchdown. They kick off to us. We commit a penalty, holding. We're taking over at the 13-yard line. Alvin starts us off with a 17-yard run. We start marching the ball down the field. So right now, beginning of the second quarter, 2nd and 5 on their 40. We've crossed midfield. We're ahead of the chains where we need this offense to be. Stay in front of the chains. We're showing pass right here. Could be an RPO. He is looking to throw the ball downfield, or he's selling what I think all along may have just actually been a design quarterback run. Initially, we're setting up to show pass blocking, except Penning's engaged right now. Like he came off the ball slightly. McCoy is looking at him, thinking he's got the block because McCoy reaches around and he's going downfield with Alvin following right behind him. Alvin did not look once at either of those two defenders on the offensive left, who are now both beating their blocks. Banks has lost his. Penning is in the process of completely losing his right now. Meanwhile, we're sending through the B gap our quarterback being led by a center who just ran around Penning in that block, and Alvin coming right behind him, not even looking at all at that edge player that is just beating Banks. And you know what happens here? It just gets jammed up. He's got nowhere to go. Technically, this was a sack, even though it was a run for no gain because he showed pass. But the ultimate result of this play, you kind of killed your drive. You pick up 2 yards right here, 3rd and 3. At least technically, you're still in a very manageable down and something that you can pick up. We were 3rd and 5. We throw an incompletion. We punt the ball. Now, it kind of turns out okay. That was Kroger's 49-yard punt that we cover and get him inside the 15. I think they had it on the 13-yard line and started that process where our defense started taking over. You keep this drive going, you just kind of have to ask yourself, if you march it all the way down the field, even if you get that 3 points or you go ahead and score a touchdown, how much is the game altered? Because you were starting to quiet the crowd with this type of methodical drive down the field. All of a sudden, you give them a big play, crowd comes back in it, then you miss on 3rd down, you punt the ball back. You kind of lose some momentum. Defense got it back, but the offense had the opportunity to keep it before that. So let me know down in the comments. I'll have a pinned comment down here basically asking, but hey, what we saw, was that encouraging? Was it not encouraging? I can't see where it would be discouraging, but hey, somebody may look at it that way. Let me know down in the comments. I think for the most part, we're headed on the right track. Not enough to be a playoff team, don't get me wrong, just enough kind of start proving, hey, the rebuild is working. That's what I'm kind of looking to see right now over this next 3-game stretch. First time here, you like what you saw, please hit the like, share, subscribe. Again, in the comments, my suggestions, my pinned comments are new stuff on your own. Hey, let me know what's going on down there. And I'm trying to get multiple times a day to pop in there, but at least once a day, as long as I'm able to. We'll see what you got going on down there. Coming up next, we will be previewing the Giants game. That'll be Friday-ish, Friday afternoon-ish. So till I see you next time, I'm Tim. Peace out and who dat.